Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin really quick, seeing what's going on. Hope you can understand best practice and big picture. And we're going to look at a good handful of things. We're going to take a look here at High Block Capital. We'll make sure to reload that data. And obviously make sure that we take a look here at some CME Futures, whereas there's some gaps that still need to be filled, right? So we'll talk about that too. So if you're new to the channel, keep in mind I'm not a financial advisor. I love teaching people to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is the site. Link down below. We can, hopefully help you become a lot better. We got some consistencies there overall. We actually have some really nice benefits. Take a look at this here. We got 94% in 4 days there from Gala. A nice little swing trade there. And we got a couple of other on the horizon here this week as well. But that said, what we want to look at is some high block capital data first, and we'll jump into that other colorful chart. Everything's actually fairly colorful when you think about it, so it's really, really nice to enjoy some beautiful charts here. So again, if you're a nerd like me, different story, but you may not appreciate that. Either way, if we're looking here at the liquidations, we can see that there's not a ton of short and long liquidations, more shorts than long recently just because the price is slowly etching its way up, but it's nothing significant. We can also see that there are more people asking to sell than to buy. It kind of tells us that sentiment is more so trying to sell at this level than buy at this level, right? So it could imply that we kind of have a tentative shelf. We'll see that on the charts if that is the case, but we can see whales are still active over retail. And one thing I've noticed as a correlation is as the price comes up, whales are a little bit less active once we get to the, kind of like the range when we were hitting 31,000, whales were like almost nowhere to be seen. But then they start becoming very active when the price dips down. So it's kind of a good sign that they're starting to dissipate. We can see we have more longs than shorts, or at least more longs being open than closed at this point. And then the inverse, sort of. Actually, no. Look at this here. We got more shorts coming into the market right now. So we kind of got this little battle here between shorts and longs, and they're both kind of trying to fight it out here at the 27.4 mark. Right, we're at 27,400. So what does that mean for us in the big picture? Well, let's see what the open interest tells us first, and we'll go ahead and peek right at that here. So open interest, we can see the most amount of long positions are hedged here at about 27,300. They are slightly in profit. With the shorts, pretty much the same scenario. We got some late shorts here at about 27.3 as well. So right there at the 27.3 range, we're seeing this strong support and resistance area being tested. So we're going to take a look at some charts here and kind of see with smaller time frames with Fibonacci retracement levels what that may look like. But for the moment here, let's go ahead and see what the big picture is. So taking a look at the big picture here, we can see that we're below all three moving averages, or correction, all two. The third one, of course, is 200. That's trailing behind. It's been for some time. You've got to keep in mind, too, very similar scenario here with the simple moving averages and the exponential moving average. Only difference is the EMA 200 is trailing closer to 25,000. That's right there at that support range that we have for Bitcoin. Okay, so all in all, this is a situation where Bitcoin is kind of in that sweet spot, right? We needed to close above 27,000. Now that we have, there's a decent chance we will see further upside. But once again, anything could happen at this point. Let's take a quick look, though. We're still tentatively bearish. We're underneath 50 on the RSI, trending right around 45. You can see money flow index is still coming down. That explains a lot, kind of explains why we haven't seen the price shoot up yet. We can also see the MACD on the horizon here potentially converging. This is a positive sign. Another couple of days, we could see that swing upwards, and that could give us that shift in momentum. Okay, so again, at this point, we don't have that full-on momentum shift, but we have a lot of support and resistance at this level here at 27,300. So to me, a closure above 27.3 today would be super important to be able to maintain this support level here at Fibonacci of 0.382. Take a look at the 4-hour. What we want to kind of look at here is a couple of things. We'll peek at Elliott wave here in a little bit. We'll look at that on the 1 hour, but I want to kind of note a couple of things quickly here. First of all, T sequential, we got a nice little reset. We came down to a 7 and then down to a 3. Pretty much came down to a 9 if you add that all together. There was not enough consolidation to really warrant a reset. So that really just tells us here that we're kind of bouncing off that lowest point. And what's great about this too is we're seeing higher lows getting established with parallel highs. And you've heard me say this before, that's a very, very good sign for a breakout to the upside. You can kind of see here, there's typically like an ascending type of wedge pattern that occurs when that happens. Okay? So again, something along the lines of this here. That's basically what we're seeing here, where we continuously retest this level, and it's inevitable to break to the upside because of that. You can also see a lot of candle wicks and candlesticks at this range. That tells us that there's a good chance the price will continue higher because it derived from a lower point. Okay, so again, these are just candlestick patterns. This isn't foolproof. Doesn't mean it's just going to shoot to the moon right now, but it does imply we have a better chance of going up than down at this point. Now, again, you could argue that because yesterday it looked like we were going to go down further and we came up. That's how the market is right now, though. It's very, very funky, very strange. So be careful in how you trade and make sure that you're probably maybe prioritizing a little bit more shorter holds where you're sitting there and actually watching it move instead of just kind of setting it and forgetting it. Not that that's a bad strategy, but if you have tight stop losses, they're going to get stopped out just based on these ugly, aggressive candle wicks we're seeing. That being said, though, the 4-hour looks fairly decent there. Let's take a look at the RSI. We're up over 50 once again, which is great. We've officially converged on the MACD here as well, losing a little bit of momentum, but generally speaking, that's to be expected with the price action being where it's at. So I like this position here. I think we're in pretty good shape. I do also like that we're back up above the moving averages. They were previously working as resistance levels. Now they're potential supports. I think it's a very positive sign. And then if we take a look at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and quickly acknowledge a couple of things. In fact, let's take a quick look at Elliott wave. We can kind of see that it does anticipate potential lower low here because of the fact that we've established a higher low previous to our higher high with the ascending trend. So if you can kind of see this here, we got 2 lower lows and 3 higher highs. It's typically followed by 2 lower lows and a lower high. We haven't officially topped out yet, so this is tentative for the moment, but that could imply that we might have a further downside somewhere at the 26.5 range or lower. Taking a look, though, at the other important stuff, I'm more focused on something like this here. Ichimoku cloud being above the cloud is super important. We do got to recognize, too, though, that being above a cloud right now, with it being range bound, it's not fully 100%. It's not going to tell us like definitively that we're in good shape right now. So that being said, with it being kind of in this position right now where we're sort of range bound, it doesn't give us it gives us some false positives sometimes, right? While it's all well and good that we're above the cloud, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like a definitive direction. Okay? If we take a look at the TD sequential, we can see we came up to a 9 here recently and we're consolidating. We came down to a 9 previously. So we're seeing a lot of 9s on TD sequential here for Bitcoin. So this is actually good because these are predictable behaviors, right? Or fairly predictable. In other words, at this point, we're at a 3 right now. We could see 6 more hours of continuation to the upside. I think that's less likely, but I do feel like we're going to close today above this level. We'll be in pretty good shape to see further upside. It is nice that we closed there yesterday, but we haven't officially closed there 2 days in a row, so sometimes it's a little premature. So once again, looking, I would say, fairly decent there in that regard. If we take a look at this most recent trading hours, we can see the average true range. We're below that at 27,300. So a closure again about 27,350 to finish off today's trading day would be fantastic. And if we take a quick look at market sessions here, we can see, of course, here that London had a nice sell-off near the end of the day, and not too much else really. Surprisingly, the Asian markets didn't do a whole heck of a lot yesterday too. So all in all, nothing too outrageous. Let's quickly peek over at the dollar index. It is still on the increase. You got to keep that in mind with this increasing. Bitcoin is inevitably, potentially going to go down. I like to say inevitably, potentially, because those are completely counteractive. No, simply put, price goes up for dollar index, Bitcoin should come down. We haven't seen it yet, so Bitcoin's holding fairly strong at this level. But if we see the dollar index coming down, that would be a sign. We can also see a significant increase since the market opened here for NASDAQ and S&P. So what does that tell us? That tells us that today could potentially be a red day here for Bitcoin, or that might explain why Bitcoin's having difficulty passing this plane, because we have that extra stuff in the market. So generally speaking, I would say at this point, it may be advantageous to wait. I'm considering a long position right now, just based on the fact that there's more bullish than bearish qualities. Let's take a quick look at the 15, see if there's any other confirmational signs. BTC Golden is giving us a couple of green lights here, letting us know that we have some confirmation above our moving averages and our RSI. We can also see Bollinger Bands is starting to kind of squeeze in a little bit there with no full-on confirmation yet. So ultimately, again, at this point, it seems more likely the price is going to increase from here than decrease. But once again, how do we ever truly know? Well, what we go on is we don't go on our gut feeling or our instinct. We go on the fact that we have technical data that we're looking at. And right now, majority of things are looking like they're going to come up and they were to go down. But you got to recognize, yesterday it was looking like it was going to go down. It turned right around and went up. Okay? So there's a lot of little reasons to be patient and potentially wait for a candlestick closure. To me, at this level, it does feel like the price action is going to continue upwards, but we need to get a closure really close to the current point, about 27.3 or higher. That's kind of what I'm looking for, and if so, then we might be in pretty good shape to be able to retest that 27,800 mark, potentially even the 28 range. But for now, be patient and try to wait for a good entry. If you're going to get in now, again, just monitor it and make sure you're paying good attention to it. Future reference, thank you so much for joining me here, of course, and thank you again for liking, subscribing, following the whole 9 yards there. We've had some awesome people coming into the community here recently, so absolutely great to be able to work with you. If you do want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is the site. Link down below. Of course, we took some healthy profits there from Gal at 94%. But we got some amazing traders in here and some really cool benefits of being just a consistent member. Okay, a lot of cool things are coming. We've got some day trades coming here soon, along with a significant exchange that we are partnering with to get things off the ground here. So really, really cool stuff, especially for our US and Canadian and UK members. Those who had some KYC issues recently with Bybit, we got you covered. All right, thanks again for joining me here. Hope you have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon.